In this video, I'm going to talk about how to get a repository from GitHub, from the cloud online, onto your own machine in an RStudio project. So you have your repository. This is just a random repository from my GitHub, but perhaps you would want to say have a repository from our GitHub classroom, right? So once you're in your version, remember when it's a GitHub classroom project, right? When it's a GitHub classroom assignment, it's going to have your essentially your username tacked onto the end of this. That is your unique version of this assignment. That's the one you need to be copying. So when you have your homework one, hello R, and then your GitHub username, when you're inside that repository, you're going to see this green code button. This green code button is what you're going to need to do. So if you've set up two-factor, you'll use SSH. But if you set up the key the way that we learned how to in class, this is the link you're going to need, this HTTPS link. You're going to copy it, right? That handy button just goes ahead and copies that for you. So you're going to copy the link to your repository. You're going to go over to RStudio. You're going to go over to RStudio and you are going to make a new project. You can either use this create a new project or drop down new project, whichever works for you. Okay, so now that we have this pop-up window, we want to create a new project. We want to check out a project from the version control repository. That's exactly what our goal is today. We want to take a project that is in a repository on Git, and we want to create a repository from that, right? So I'm going to paste that URL into the repository URL space. We have our name that's going to automatically populate. Just leave that alone. And this is where you can create where you would like those files to be saved, right? So you're going to create the project as a subdirectory of somewhere, right? I wanted a file inside this folder. You're welcome to put that in your classroom folder, right? Your Data2401 folder that you've created, or I have a folder on my computer where all of my repositories go, right? It's a folder inside my documents, whatever, no big deal, right? In a new session or not, totally up to you, and just create project. Very quickly, we've cloned into that, hooray. Now you can see in our file window, I've got this test repository, Spring 22, I've got day2.txt, I've got the readme.md, I've got this repository project, I've got this RProject file, right? That is a file that just kind of keeps track of all of the settings in your RProject. Just leave it alone. Just chill with it. It's fine. If I want to open up, there's that day 2 text. Let's make some changes. Some more text here, right? Very inventive stuff. I know, right? So I'm saving it over here in our Git connections. You can see that that has been modified. So we will stage our change. Commit our change. You can also stage in here, totally fine. You can see the changes I made, and I'm going to commit by saying added another line to day2.txt via RStudio, right? So I'm going to commit that. And we're all good there, right? Not a problem. I have all my Git set up correctly, and then I will push that. Right, so I've pushed that. Now it is the same here. If I go over here, I look in day2.txt and I have that text that I've added in. It's all good to go. So your project should look like this. You're working on them here. You can work on them in your RStudio. If you need to go work on a separate computer, you can go copy that, clone that repository onto a different computer. Just don't forget to commit and push once you work on a local machine. Right?